Hi, my name is Tom Richards, and I'm here with my 7-year-old golden retriever named Gus. Gus is part of a program of which I'm founder and director called Nellie Schoolhouse. The mission of Nellie Schoolhouse is to foster and nourish ongoing therapeutic relationships between children with autism, depression, and anxiety, and well-mannered and well-trained dogs. The program is an ambulatory one, in which screened volunteers and their dogs visit children and their families in their own homes. Skills such as leash handling, walking, petting, treating, grooming, and verbal and silent commands are taught, and children are also taught how to understand and interpret a dog's body language and facial expressions. Bigger life skills are also taught at this time. Those skills include reliability, responsibility, accountability, spontaneity, communication, empathy, perseverance, patience, and focus. Volunteers and their dogs are evaluated by our certified dog trainer and must meet certain criteria before they are allowed to join the program. Likewise, children and their families are interviewed and assessed by our mental health professional before they become members of Nellie Schoolhouse. Both of our teams, the volunteer and dog, as well as the child and his family, are evaluated and assessed throughout the length of the program. Today, you are going to meet Michael, a young man who has worked with my dog Gus for 8 sessions over these past several weeks. You're also going to meet his parents Fran and Elizabeth. This obviously is part of a program called Nellie Schoolhouse, and Michael was really the first young man to be part of that program. It was a great experience, I know, for Gus and for me, and I think it was too for Michael. So Fran, tell me a little bit about Michael.
So Michael is a 16-year-old young man who's a Saints fan, and LSU fan, and Phillies fan, and absolutely loves dogs. Absolutely loves dogs. And he constantly challenges us weekly about getting a dog, and it's something that we've kind of thought about for the future for Michael. But Michael's a very loving, caring young man. He has 2 sisters.
Going into the program, and it was a pilot project, as you know. What were your and Elizabeth's your wife? What were both of you hopes and expectations, do you think, of what Michael would get from this experience? And I know you didn't know a lot about the program, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you saw develop during that time.
It's interesting because when you think about expectations, I really wasn't sure what to expect, and part of what went through my mind was some of the different challenges we have with Michael. Could be when he gets frustrated, or when he's gets angry because of just different things going on in the day, or trying to communicate his thoughts. And I had this thought, this expectation, like, Gus being a therapy dog, when I think of therapy, it was going to be like this cure-all. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And when I met Gus and saw Michael, it was wonderful. But at first, I'm like, oh wow, he's learning about the dog, and as you began to explain to us, there's this relationship that has to form. It started to reset my expectations. Mm-hmm. And the first few times that Michael interacted with Gus, I actually was concerned that it wasn't for Michael, because I just didn't feel like it was progressing as much as...
And you didn't see sort of a connection.
My expectations.
Yeah, and your expectations.
But probably after the 3rd visit, it was interesting because it started to come together. And I started to see this bond and him become better with walking Gus and just interacting with him. And it built my confidence that whether we did get a dog someday, or if he went to work at like a hotel for dogs, or some place where a place of business for dogs, how Michael could really do well in that. I definitely see learning more with patience, mm-hmm. And responsibility. Mm-hmm. Those 2 things, and they're very important because Michael has 2 young sisters that take a lot of patience to deal with, and he can't always get his way. And then when we talk about responsibility, we have, like Michael does a lot of chores around the house. He empties the dehumidifier, he takes out the trash twice a week. He'll load the dishwasher, he'll empty the dishwasher. And when he's not as interested in doing those types of things, those responsibilities, we remind him about, you know, things that he was responsible with Gus, or if someday we got a dog, there's a responsibility, and this is just part of, you know, learning your responsibility. What it did for Elizabeth and I, like when we have a chance to kind of just sit back and reflect one-on-one, it enlightened our outlook and kind of just made us feel really good that Michael had a connection with Gus and his love and passion for dogs, and just shows how caring he is.
This is sort of an empathy question, because we talk a little bit in the program about empathy, children towards dogs, and we had talked a little bit about that Gus got cancer, and you know, he had an operation on his nose, etc. Did you feel a sense? Did you guys talk about that at all? That sense of a feeling for Gus, or an understanding of what Gus was going through?
Yes, we did, absolutely. Michael especially reminded us a few times, you know, just, you know, brought Gus's name up, which we felt was kind of a reminder to talk about Gus. And we talked to the girls about it, you know, at their level. And, you know, we talked about how important it is to be thankful for our health, and also to pray for people that aren't as healthy. And, you know, we definitely said our prayers for Gus. Overall, it was a great experience, and we definitely want to learn more about it. And we hope to continue to be in Gus's life. We thank you for including us in everything you've done, and we hope to be included more about it with what you're doing. So it's wonderful.